So you are the first audience in the world to see Musicwood. You know, we watched hundreds of films in selecting the 60 features that that we're showing at the festival this year. And when I got this one, I was intrigued by the title. I was intrigued by the description, and from the very beginning, I felt in the hands of very assured filmmakers. You know, the beauty with which this film is made. Not only the visual beauty, but of course the musical beauty that it captures, and a very tricky story that it very carefully navigates. So I've been, you know, really pretty excited all week long to the guitar right here.
It's just the guitar experience.
This is Sonic Cinema. So I've been looking forward since the festival began to be bringing you this film, and it's my great pleasure to bring up the director and producer of the film. Please welcome Maxine Trump and Josh Grange.
It's pretty much exactly as we always hoped with this film, that we'd be able to look out on a crowd of people who had supported the film and played various roles in the film, and it really is wonderful to just see so many faces of people who have had an impact on allowing us to be able to tell this story. I mean, we especially want to thank, there are folks here from California, there are folks here from Alaska, people here from the UK. We want to thank everyone who's come out tonight and anyone who has supported the film in any way. We are really excited to be able to present this as a finished film. It's been a long time coming, and it feels pretty exciting. So thank you so much for coming out.
And please go around for Q&A afterwards. There's going to be about a 15-minute Q&A. So, you know, it raises some interesting issues, and you might have some questions, and we have a lot of people that feature in the film here, so it would be great if you could stay around for that too. But thank you so much for coming. This has been a great ride, and thank you for taking it with us. So enjoy the film.
Thank you. So we have a special group of people from the film to bring to the stage. We have Bob Taylor from Taylor Guitars. We have from Sea Alaska, Dr. Rosita Worrell. From Greenpeace, Rolf Starr. And the filmmakers Maxine Trump and Josh Grange. Come on down, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. It never went by so quickly before.
So you might have a few questions.
Well, let me start. I just would like to hear from the people who are in the film. When you watch the film, what do you take away from this telling of the story? And Bob, will start with you in the end.
I think my big takeaway is it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma for this time in the history of mankind, really. I think that before you make a change and after you make a change are both pretty easy. But while you're making a change, it's hard, and sometimes there's never really a good answer. And I said it early in the film, in my lifetime, I'm living that time where the change is being made. And I felt that a lot in the kind of the whole angst of the whole thing. We're in the middle of a changing time where we've realized that our wood resources won't last forever, and we've got to do something about it, but we don't all know exactly what to do.
Rolf from Greenpeace, where do you see the story that's documented in this film? Where is it at right now?
Well, I think the story's not over. A lot of Hollywood movies start, they have a middle and they have an end, and this one is in process still, and it's still playing out. So I actually view what's happening not only in Alaska, but in places like Madagascar, places like Brazil, as an open book. And I remain optimistic that even with strange bedfellows, getting together, not always comfortable with each other, finding common ground that actually progress can be made.
Dr. Rosita World, welcome. Thank you for joining us all the way from Alaska. I would love to hear what your takeaway is when you watch this film.
Honorable people of New York, honorable people who have come here to see this film. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Maxine, and Josh. This story tells the story of the Musicwood Coalition. But for the First Peoples of Alaska, the First Peoples of Southeast Alaska, it does not tell our full story. And I would love to have the time to tell you that story, and I know I don't have that. But if I could first of all introduce myself to you in my Tlingit way, and perhaps bring you to our land, and bring you into our worldview, perhaps you might see how we see our land. First of all, if I could introduce my clan aunt, Jackie Peda. She is on the Sealaska board, and she's also the president of the National Congress of American Indians. We're very proud of her. And my clan brother, Antlatin, who is identified as Ron Wolf. Antlatin means keeper of the land. Yedeklitzak kakahani yuchatu wasak, jakna ayachat, shambu kwedi ayachat, suka khadi yadi ayachat, chiskat kwan ayachat, kaudli ayi hit ayachat. My Tlingit names are Yedeklitzak. It's an ancient name that has been handed down for thousands of years. The meaning has been lost. My ceremonial name is Kahani, which means woman who stands in the place of a man. I always remind the Sealaska board members of this name. I'm an eagle, and I'm proud to wear my eagle crest. I am from the Thunderbird clan, and I am from the house lord from the sun. And I am so very proud to be a child of the Tlukahadi clan. I am from Klakwan. I am a Chifkat Kwan. The spirits of my ancestors roam through Southeast Alaska. Southeast Alaska has been our homeland since time immemorial. We owned, undisputedly, 23 million acres of land in Southeast Alaska. When the Americans came to Alaska, we had a council of our clan leaders, and we said, should we wage war against the United States? Being the pragmatists we were, we realized that we could not win that war. So we decided we would go with the legal system of the United States. It took us 100 years to secure our land claims entitlement, for that to be recognized by Congress. That law authorized us to take ownership of 1.6% of lands of our original ownership. We still have not received all of our land entitlement. And we are before Congress right now to receive that land entitlement. You have seen us portrayed as an economic institution, and we are that. But we are so much more than that. We are a tribal institution, and we are seeking ways to integrate our cultural values into all of our activities. We have our cultural values that guide us. And one of the things that we have learned is that not only must we honor the land, but today we realize that we have to take the best of our science, our traditional knowledge, and integrate that with Western science. And that, my friends, is not, you did not see that today.
If I could at this point, Rosita, thank you so much. It's been, I think that this is all right, everything that you're saying, and
I think from our perspective as filmmakers, a lot of what really drew us to the story was the absolute uniqueness of this situation, where you had a tribal people with a real history and a real connection to the land, and to see in a modern context how those people are trying to move forwards while staying true to all of their tribal and historical aspects that are so important to them as a people, and also having to take on some of the more complex modern issues, such as being a corporation and having to care about profits, having shareholders, having people within the tribe that are dissenting voices, not just dissenting on a small level, but dissenting to potentially the greatest level that they could dissent. And I think what we really felt in the film that we wanted to be sure that we were true to was that we portrayed you as a people with all of the ceremonial aspects, all of the connections to the land that you have, which I think was there for everyone to see in celebration, in the first tree ceremony, in all of these things. And you guys, there was a great part when we were doing the interview with Rosita where she introduced herself in the very same way that she did just now, which was in the film for so long because it was a really powerful moment. It was really great. We actually had everybody. Tom did a phenomenal introduction of himself where he explained all of his names. And I mean, unfortunately, as I'm sure a lot of people involved in the documentaries here know, we have to focus our story, and we have to focus on one particular thing that we can hope to connect with an audience. And this story was about the Musicwood Coalition coming to the land and about their experience and how they experienced that.
And you did a wonderful job in doing that.
Thank you. So I think of course, for everyone, you know, anyone who has an interest or their curiosity is piqued or the dialogue continues, please get on the internet, you know, take a look at the Sealaska Heritage Institute is doing some amazing work as far as preserving. There's photographs, there's all kinds of fascinating information out there. Do, you know, check out Greenpeace as well. Take a look at, there's a Facebook page called Sealaska Underground, in which the dissenting members of Sealaska have a forum in which they can, you know, air their grievances. Take a look at that. There's lots of information out there for you to absorb, because as you probably got a sense from the film, we're barely hinting at the level of complexity involved in this story. And I think everyone on this stage would agree with that. This is the tip of an enormous iceberg. Please seek it out and find more information.
If I could say to my friends from the guitar industry, it's been a pleasure to get to know you. And I want to tell you again, as I have told you in the past, Sealaska Corporation, Sealaska Native people are not going to be responsible for the disappearance of good music from this land. We have told you that, and we are committed to that.
Thank you, Rosita.
Can I just add just a comment about the corporate history? There's a lot of information, and Rosita has just hinted about their history as a people. And let's not forget that the negotiations that this tribe had to get involved with the government and create a corporation. That legacy, we'd have loved to have made a whole nother documentary about that. And a situation where they had to enter in with the government to own their land by actually running a corporation. Like I said, we could have spent a couple of hours making that documentary. And I think what we've really tried to express here, and what is very rare with, as we all know with corporations, that this is a corporation that was willing to open up a dialogue. And if we could open up a dialogue with the amount of corporations out there, generally white corporations, that don't open up that dialogue, the world would be a quite different place. We're beginning that conversation and meeting with the guitar guys, and that felt quite
I just want to add one thing to it, and thank you very much for your comments. the last thing I think that is important at the end when we talk about See Alaska's land bill is still in Congress, I want to make it really clear that See Alaska's land bill is doing something that we have never, as Native people across the country, been able to do. In our land bill, we're actually asking to hold our sacred places and our sacred sites. We're asking for entitlement of unroaded and of not being able to pursue our forest practices to protect unroaded and old growth. We're actually looked to ways that we can actually deal with doing other kinds of economic diversification in those communities as ecotourism and other kinds of things. So our land bill encompasses a vision for where we want to go as a corporation, and certainly to protect our sacred places. And actually, unfortunately, one of the most controversial pieces in our land bill is the ability for us as tribal members to hold on to our grave sites and those sacred places and own them in the entitlement. I just wanted to clarify that so that when you look for the pieces about where we are and who we are as a corporation and where we're going, that's where our values are. Goodness, sheesh.
So Maxine and Josh, this is the first audience to have seen this film. Where does this film go from here?
Everywhere. We are at the beginning of this journey. We are opening dialogue, and we're having lots of discussions. See Alaska only saw the film last week. We only delivered it to the film festival. I think about
exactly a week ago.
A week ago. So we're at the beginning of this journey. We do really hope, See Alaska are, as you know, and has just been mentioned, they are discussing a land bill that is trying to exchange an area of land that was, I don't want to say award, so there's a long journey for everybody. Once See Alaska conclude that land bill, we hope they may be able to continue conversations about FSC certification, because I think, if I'm correct, that's really what seems to be holding up the trees are running out with their current lands, and until they get new land, they can't look at a sustainable harvest. And what was really very interesting when we had an interview with Rosita, when they came into the logging situation in the 80s, the rest of the forest had been heavily logged that wasn't See Alaska's land, and See Alaska had some of the most productive areas of forest. So they're in a situation where they have a beautiful area of old growth, and so they're in a situation where they have the luxury, they have as you've heard, this incredible forest area, and so there's a lot of pressure, and it is their land, so there's a lot of further politics to sort of play out, and we just hope that that discussion can continue once the land deal has been concluded. So I think that's fair to say that that's the position that...
I think beyond that, I mean, for the film, we're hoping to, we'll be at some other festivals where we're going to hopefully get on, Netflix and spread the word and do everything we can so that as many people can see the film as possible, because it's a very remote area. I mean, from having to travel there to do the shoots that we did there, it really is very far away, sort of out of sight, out of mind. And one of the big hopes for the film was to be able to bring this land, which is, part of the largest national forest in the US, to people so that we could say, hey, America, this is part of your story, and here are people that you don't know about, and these things are happening, and you know what it's going to affect? It's going to affect your acoustic guitar. This is like the way to try and connect it with people, but our hope really is obviously that as many people as possible can see it and get an understanding for this land and meet the people that are there.
If I could say that in Southeast Alaska, 87% of our lands are in conservation lands. And in our land legislation, we have another 200,000 acres that will be dedicated to conservation lands. And we have also talked to the music industry about creating an arts park where we could be certain that it's for our arts, for us as well as guitars, because we make totem poles, we make canoes, And it's in our interest to make sure that those kind of resources are available for the future. So we have been in discussion about the creation of an arts park for our guitars and our traditional arts.
Well, we're very pleased to help launch this film, and we're very honored by all of you joining us for this conversation. Right now, we'll take this conversation to the Kettle of Fish bar and keep this dialogue going. Thanks very much to the team behind Musicwood, and thank you for coming.